Hey everybody, what's up? Wavejump here, and welcome back to another video. If you are like me, you may have an incredibly slow computer that can barely handle the most basic tasks. I don't even know how I record without having my computer crash. But what I want to go ahead and show you in today's video is a way that you can go ahead and greatly improve the performance of Minecraft. Actually, two different ways. And I also want to go ahead and let you know that this is also applicable on Mac. It's not just a Windows thing. I know that because I've owned a Mac installation of Minecraft before. I've used Minecraft on Mac before I record on here. Thank you as always for 812 subscribers, and to Shatter and Betenoir on Patreon for supporting me. But yeah, as you could tell here, even just trying to load up Minecraft, it's not responding. And while granted this fix won't necessarily help that, it will go ahead and improve in-game performance. Now this is going to go ahead and be via a program called Optifine and something else using what's called, I believe, JVM arguments. So anyways, if I were to go ahead and say join my server here, right, fairly simply on a logging in, right, that I can't really help, that's just my network. But once I'm in, after it goes to train and all that, you'll notice I'll probably have a really laggy game. You know, it's 1 frame per second, 6 frames per second, 4 frames per second. You know, maybe be getting 10 more normally on normal vanilla stuff. And if I check my video settings, you know, I'm on pretty low video settings other than graphics being at fancy. You know, and even still, it is incredibly laggy right here. So, what you can go ahead and do with Optifine is as follows. First off, let's go ahead and quit out of Minecraft. Now, what you're going to want to do here is you're going to go to optifine.net right here. And this will go ahead and pull up this page. By the way, this is a program I've been using pretty much since I started playing Minecraft. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do to make sure, though, before you go ahead and install Optifine, is to go ahead and make sure you have gone ahead and in your Minecraft launcher, gone ahead and launch the latest version of Minecraft at least once, or at least the version of Minecraft you're planning to install Optifine for. Then once you're on Optifine's website, you're going to click Downloads, and you're going to click on whatever Minecraft version you want, and then click Download or Mirror. Mirror means you'll probably get less ads, but you'll still, no matter what, get a pop-up ad. So yeah, the main thing you should note is that if I were, for example, and by the way, the reason I have Adblock and Adblock Plus installed right now on this account is just because it makes video recording a much more pleasurable experience. I don't actually use either of these normally. If I were to go ahead here and say pause Adblock there and disable it on this site, if I've done that correctly, I think I've done so. Let's say here, yeah, as this is showing how slow my computer is. If I were to go ahead and click normal download, for example, you'll notice after loading a bunch, it'll bring me to an AdFly link. And by the way, I totally support the fact that they're trying to make revenue off of ads because, you know, I love Optifine as a platform and I think they do a fantastic job with it. I also think that I need to disable Adblock Plus on this site. But you'll see typically, you'll have something really annoying pop up down there. You'll say something sometimes like your Adobe Flash player needs updating. That's completely false. Your software may be out of date. This is also false. Do not click on anything below this blue banner here. You're going to click skip ad. After it loads, and you'll notice even more stuff will pop up here. Now, when you click download, typically, you know, there will be some sort of pop-up. This time there was no pop-up. But you'll notice also you'll see this type of file can harm your computer. Do you want to download it anyway? You're going to click keep. I already have downloaded one of those, so I'm going to click discard. And I should go ahead and mention as well, I of course can re-enable these things now, that you know, if you are installing Optifine, you don't need any sort of administrator access or anything. So, or at least as far as I know. So if you go ahead and install Optifine, it's like this requires administrator access or something. That's false. But on Mac, you may have an issue where you try and open it and it'll say it's an untrusted developer. In that case, you're going to want to go to System Preferences, find a section called Privacy, type in your administrator password, and then click like Run Anyway under where it says something about Optifine. I can't show that right now because I'm on a Windows computer. But anyways, another thing you can do with Optifine, by the way, you click Cape, and under the Cape section, you could actually go ahead and get an Optifine cape. Now, the way Optifine capes work is you go ahead and design your own cape, and anybody that has Optifine installed will be able to see that cape. I've actually had one for years now, and it's pretty cool. Sorry, by the way, that this little part here is blurred out, but essentially what this is saying here is, you know, installing Optifine, where to install it. You could probably keep the folder as it usually is unless you've changed something weird with your Minecraft installation. You just click install. That's all you really need to do. And once you click install, and I'm not sure why it's lagging out a bit here, It'll take a bit to load. It'll say Optifine is successfully installed. Click OK, and it's gone. Next up, you're going to go ahead then and reopen your Minecraft thing launcher. That's what it's called. And one thing we're going to do before we go ahead and open the game here is we're going to go ahead and change the settings of this profile. So first off, I'm going to under here select our Optifine profile that was automatically created, Optifine 1.12.2, Optifine HDUC6. I'm going to go to launch options. And if I, for example, go to my stream one here, you'll notice I have this thing enabled called JVM arguments, and it has all this text here. I will have probably this text in the description below. But if I were to go ahead here, and actually I already had it enabled for Optifine because I had a previous Optifine profile installed. You notice the main thing you're going to want here is minus capital X MX, and then a number being the amount of gigabytes of RAM you want to dedicate to the game, and then G. Now in order to go ahead and check how much RAM you have if you're on a Windows machine, you're going to go ahead and right click on the Windows icon and click System. And once this goes and pops up, if you are able to actually see it, you'll go ahead here, and again, sorry if there's stuff blurred out here, you'll see under installed memory RAM, something gigabytes, GB. Now, if you have 4 gigabytes, you're not going to probably want to dedicate more than 2 gigabytes. And if you're like me and have 8 gigabytes, typically I would do just slightly under half of your RAM. But essentially what this means is that Minecraft will have more to work with, and, you know, be less likely to run out of issues. Now, I have this undecorated thing here. You don't need to actually worry about this one. But essentially what it was something for me to help with Fullscreen. I don't even know if it still works. But yeah, all you're going to have to do is click save after changing the amount of RAM you want to dedicate, just being this number here. Then, of course, you click save and go ahead, head back to Minecraft and launch it. Just like so. And, of course, once it launches, we should go ahead and see, first off, that we're going to have a lot more options to change under our video settings. Now, this in this tutorial, I'm not just going to be showing you how to install Optifine, I'm going to be showing you some of the more optimal settings to set. So go ahead and show you that in a moment. Let me go ahead and close out of this here so it looks a bit nicer and cleaner probably. And yeah, I'm also going to hopefully see, maybe I can make Minecraft full screen. We'll see, or at least full screen for you. It's not going to be actually full screen. It just will look like it's full screen for you. So let me see, Minecraft 1.12.2. No, that doesn't look like it worked. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm going to see if I get this to show up above everything. But if not, it's not a huge deal. Oh, so there's my old awful texture pack splash screen. Because I had that undecorated thing, and I forgot I had undecorated, by the way, and I probably won't have that in the actual command ID down below. You'll notice there's actually no title bar here, which makes it kind of interesting looking. But yeah, so now you'll notice, here we are. I'm going to go ahead here and click multiplayer. And open this up, and you'll still probably start off being fairly laggy, and the reason for that is, of course, because I'm recording. But you will definitely notice a significant difference if you are going ahead and not actually recording like I am. And the settings that you're going to from which you have, or with, definitely a second, already at like but you may not notice that much of a difference immediately. So you're going to go escape, options, video settings. And I want to set a couple of things. First off, graphics. If you do fast, it may slightly speed up your game, but I found it actually hasn't made a difference at all for me lately. Render distance. You're going to keep this fairly low. This is how much you end up seeing in your game. And you can change this a little bit in vanilla Minecraft. You can't change your frames. So same for max frame rate. You're going to want it set to 60 frames, probably, or VSync, because essentially what that means is that the max frame rate it'll give you, frames per second, will be 60 frames per second, because over that's just facing your resources, and it makes it so it'll try and target the 60 frames per second, which is great. But I still rarely get there. When I do get there, it's amazing, and I more often get that in my command block tutorial world because there's less stuff going on. Smooth lighting. Of course, the fastest would be have it off. I've noticed minimum also doesn't make a huge difference for me. Smooth lighting level, that's just percentage of smooth lighting you have. Brightness, again, doesn't matter. It's just how bright your game looks. You can see in the background there that it is flashing between black and, or a blackish color and a lighter color. I used to use that around plus 87. I'll change it back to that, why not? Dynamic lights. This is one of the cooler features of Optifine. So, if I go there to grab a torch, then what's cool about dynamic light is that as I hold this torch, it'll layer around me. This is only possible with mods, but now you could basically have a almost vanilla installation of Minecraft with this dynamic lighting. Of course, you can make it fancy, which will make it look even better. I think that looks amazing. I love it. Shaders. Now, if you want to ever do shaders, Optifine lets you do that now. So all you have to do is choose a shader and just go ahead and click done after you've gone and install them. But I'm not going to make a tutorial on installing shaders, probably ever, or at least until I get a new computer, because this computer can't handle shaders like at all, because it doesn't have a graphics card. Details. So clouds you probably want off. You may like how clouds look, but they typically slow down your game a bit. Trees. Actually, anything you could set to smart. Rain and snow, I just haven't found super helpful to have on, so I've turned those off because those are also pretty laggy. Sky is on. It looks really weird without it. Stars, a lot of people turn them off, but I like them on. Sun and moon, I keep those on. Show capes, I keep on for my Optifine cape. Let's see. Yep, here it is. It's really awful looking. I mean, they, like when banners came out, which is I think like 1.8 or something. Let's see. Go back to details here. So you're gonna want as fast as you can, and you're gonna want to read over this stuff. But here's my settings anyway. If you want to go ahead and copy those off on your own game, just go ahead and pause and copy those. Animations. This is particles. So essentially, if you want to go ahead and change your particle settings, you could do it super fine-tuned here. Now, typically what I'll go ahead and do is have everything off and particles on minimal. But sometimes, for example, I'll want, say, animated textures on. And you may find, for example, if you turn everything off, that if you try and use a compass, it won't actually move at all because the texture won't animate. So mess around with this until you find something that you like. Other. This is what I have for other. One thing I used to have on was show FPS, and when I have show FPS on, you notice in the top left there, always it'll show me my frames per second and a couple of information. I think that's entity count there, and a couple of a little bit of other information, but you don't need that on. Lagometers, I believe when you press F3, it'll go ahead and show you what's causing lag for you. Weather, this turns it on or off, but that only works if you're doing that on a single player world, because you can't turn off weather for everybody on a multiplayer world. Full screen, you could just click there, of course, make full screen, but I just press F11, or if you're on Mac, maybe FN F11, or maybe even the little button in the top left. Screenshot size, this will go ahead and let you choose how the resolution of your screenshot size is. 3D glyph, don't probably ever turn that on, really pointless. The only reason you should ever use is because you know what it does. Autosave, so autosave goes ahead and lets you change how often your single player worlds autosave. Now the default, as according to Optifine at least, is 2 seconds, and what that means is that you get a lot more lag because like every couple seconds it's trying to save your world, and that could really slow you down. So probably change it to closer to a couple minutes unless you're doing some really important work. Full screen mode, there are a couple of different options. You could use custom screen resolutions, or you could just use the desktop screen resolution, meaning you could have it be completely full screen, or you could change the resolution of the game. This is probably stuff you'll only care about if you actually know what it is. Time, you could go ahead and make it so it's always day or always night, but this is only if you are in creative mode and in a local world, apparently. Again, I don't change it. Advanced tool tips. Now, I believe you could pretty much toggle this using F3H anyway, normally. But that just goes in and shows you extra information about each thing. Deeper profile, you could probably turn that off. You don't need it. Next up here, view bobbing. You turn this on or off. So if I go ahead and walk around here, that my arm kind of moves up and down a little bit, and so does my point of view. But if I turn view bobbing off, it's a much kind of smoother thing. I used to have it off, and I end up just having it turned back on because I actually kind of like it off, but it doesn't really matter a huge amount. I turn it back on, and it's a more normal looking game. View BBOs, use BBOs, I mean. For a lot of people, this will hugely speed up your game. Some people, it'll actually make it slower or make it worse, but turn BBOs on probably and see if it changes your game. Attack indicator. This is for, this is also in vanilla, I believe. If you want to go ahead and break, or if you want to say swing your sword, it'll go ahead and show you a little indicator as to, like, see, you could see under the crosshair, it's kind of hard to see there, but it'll show you how long before you could swing again, and it'll be at max force. You could have it in your crosshair and your hotbar just off. Dynamic field of view. This is kind of interesting, because, for example, if I turn this off, right, and I were to go effect, Wavejump games, speed, 5.5, true, and I were to go ahead and run around, you'll notice that my field of view didn't change at all, so I can't even tell that I have speed on without actually moving, or pressing E, of course. But if I were to go ahead and turn that on and do that same effect, you'll notice I could all of a sudden see myself running, or see my field of view change when I'm running. So I personally found it cool to have that off, but on is more useful. These are my settings here. Again, experiment, see if it'll help you. I found, by the way, sometimes changing stuff with connected textures that you don't see right here necessarily. Go ahead and crash your game, which is why I have them fancy right now. But connected textures are pretty cool because, for example, certain texture packs will let you go ahead and have connected textures. Now, my texture pack doesn't include one, but for example, it would make it so that all this glass would be connected. I personally think this looks fine without it, but of course, you might find it cooler. And of course, there's all this other stuff here. If you mouse over, it'll tell you what it does. I don't think there's anything specific I need to show here. Let's see. And yeah. Okay, performance. Smooth FPS, you probably want this on. Smooth roll, you want this on. Fast render, probably on. I had it turned off temporarily, long story short. Although there's one reason you may want to have it off, or two reasons you may want to have it off, which I'll tell you in a minute. Fast math, you'll probably want that on. Dynamic updates, you'll probably want that on. Chunk updates, probably at 1 if you want the highest frames per second. Lazy chunk loading on, which will be smoother. Fast render. So what fast render does, it lets you go ahead and just render things faster. So everything will kind of, load up a bit faster. But the issue with fast render is basically two main things. First off, if you want to go ahead and enable shaders, you have to have fast render off. Second off, I were to go ahead and say effects at e glowing, or at e type equals, or no, let me just do r equals 80 glowing 55 true. So we'll go ahead and enable glowing for 5 seconds. You'll notice those Endermen don't actually glow, they turn white. So if I were to go ahead then and I were to turn fast render off, like so, you'll notice it'll actually show up as glowing correctly, just like so. So anyways, yeah, if you ever find glowing is broken, that's because your fast render's changed weirdly. And let's see, I think that would be about it. Let me just think about this for a second here. Let's see. So yeah, we've gone ahead and covered Optifine. We've gone ahead and covered little setting you could change in your Minecraft launcher to go ahead and make everything work a bit smoother. And RAM checking. The other thing is, I don't think I mentioned about when I was talking about RAM, how to check if you're on how much RAM you have. If I remember correctly, you click on the Apple logo in the top left of your screen here. I don't know if you can see my cursor, and then you're going to click there, and then you're going to click about this Mac, and under there it'll show you your RAM if you go through those little things. Just a little interesting thing you should note. Let me know if you notice anything different about this video, just in terms of audio and editing. I'm trying out something a bit new, which may or may not stick. We'll see. In fact, I don't even know if the editing will make it into the final video. And of course, if you know anybody who has a really slow Minecraft installation, you want to help them, I think we all do, go ahead and send them this video and it'll go ahead and help them set up their game. And of course, it gives me a little bit of boost. So anyways, as always, thank you for what was it, 800 and, let me find this, 800 and, okay, 800 and something subscribers. Thank you, as always, to Shatter and Betanor on Patreon. They go ahead and pay a super small monthly donation, or actually, they pay a fairly large monthly donation to me to help me keep this channel going. But if you want to just go ahead and pay, even $1 a month, it helps me out a huge amount, and I would hugely appreciate it. Yeah, thank you for 812 subscribers. That was what I thought. And thanks for watching. Bye. Let's see, will I have to hide that? I don't know. I might throw that out. We'll see what happens. Alright, once again, bye.